Safa inchansen papa ya de bodan so padia and one adable roofings and rusty and resist heat and afe enfedi so ni color bond material or de bodan so nti omo 25-year guarantee a ema warishemu sa wo pe adable roofings ewo enkrane ne mpatamu afo ani kire of ankoberia mo amwo kumase ene ne mpatamu nso momfo ani kire ehwan overseas junction adable roofings mo ye samenhia ewo dan boso ampa fre 0248 944 710 Esa your WhatsApp number. Fre Adabof. Nani womuni idwa. Abusuafo yamamu nyina mo akwaba eba Oheneba Media so Facebook live. Na YouTube no nso ye Oheneba Media. Oba no subscribe no share video na maye. Na abusuafo wonim so Oheneba gye ni mako kusie mpia wia. Bipia na asemo a emu oduru na de menam na asembe na de menam a. Ni nyina ne se mo bekaye a eye na Asamponghene ya wonya ne ba bi ko eye Oheneba kodwo afodro. Nipa bi kukum ne ya ewo adwira kwa mu ho ho sensem ewo court na dia mede ba bahwim sesia ne se oloya ni ya ogina ho ama Sadat ya oye the prime suspect yesu se won di bone no lawyer John Ndabugiri wa free ya na kwan wo fa so free no abusuafo emu awrem kakra enti eba ne de nkyiremu abrawo na afei Sadat nso owo hene Sadat die oye prime suspect no wo hene Pachihima nso wo hene Pachihima wono nso wo hene na afei asem no akwa akoduru sei ne nyina no nyabre na wo hene ba gye ni makomi breaking it down na memfa exclusive ne nyina ewom no embrew na wo de ane se wo ba share video no na invite amanfo mbrem so wo hene ba masaba de foforo aba enti me ba sesia na enkomo ni nyina no ma breaking it down etimi de amawo abusuafo samo besha nenso a eye August 18th na yeda kwasiada mfimpimienu ene edu nkronim na ise 2019 on the 18th of August eda kwasiada no pahima asantema nyina butui ema sabi brichie kese ena epim sabi sikadwa ni nyina ne se eye wo hene bakodwo afodro ya ye frɛ no Asamponghene na na afodro akonwa na no oteso na yenka bi nshem na wo hene nipa bonfo bi etimi kokun man ya na akɔgye ne kras efri ne nsem ewo eye adwira kwan mu bra wono ankasa ne Land Cruiser 4x4 uyusu nipa yi ekum no de ne to ke nim no ye se obetwa eja atum na watimi ahye sebe ohene kase sei yanimu no na obi domfo adaworoma eja no entimi anhye ka no a sisi eduadue mu a na chise nipa bonfo bi ana etimi epese odi ewu wanwena busua ho anwene ne ma ho na ofa akodua kwaso na wo ye se obegina na yikra efri ne nsem no kure asemi beto odwa no obi anim anamo a Oheneba Media yetu afa ho ewo na yiyom afi investigations a wodo ayeboa police ma sebe ye Sadat one na Pachihima na na se wa bunsu omudwane ko waga ni nyina no kiri se ye kokoko kiri wo mu a sebe ye de wo mu eba abeduru ye Kumase Central Police ana Central Police Station a asem no ko ya akuduru Asukurema Mpon Court ya se sedie onyame ncha de asem no nkakra kra ya dia ba beduru ye Kumase High Court 2 ho na CCD asem no wo so a eda so a pende na abusuafo ansa na mede lawyer Ndabugiri ni wuo ya wa free mu a emu owrem kakra ono so na ye lawyer etwitwaje ye Sadat Muhammad no mede ne ho asem bebro na maka Sadat ho so ho asem kakra kiro no ma me nkwa asem ni mu kakra ne tie ba bi asem na kwa kuduru so far asem ni kokoduru ye Kumase High Court 2 no ya dia case no go so a pende ade Sadat police for state prosecutors no omo busa ne nsem bebre amoyiya no afei adansefo a asem no na Asamponghene yerenom na afei ne driver na busuafo ene na yonkofo bi a omu nyina omu dini piepie asemnim omu nyina la omu abegina court ama trial na fiti ase am yabusabusa omu nyina ensem ama ye no achi no brofu kasem no bibi beduru ho a na yefre no jury trial na jury trial no na chi se enam se murder case awudi semunti ekoba se wo se yepe nipa bia sabi eburu sabi mpreduasa omu nso omu nya lawyer nya agegefo nanso asem bia efa nipa kum ho no ye de betu omu animu a sai na nkomu so beka afa ho jury trial no ye no nso akoso na asem ne koso no wa no ena Sadat beka se asem no wodifo ema ye no akiri no nankenim se asem no eto betwa kura ye no akiri no ena osa koba biem se nukure wom ne se said the ensem na sia hye ne so ene ade no enti asem na okan ye no okan ne wa enti asem na okan ye no onim ewuo ne ho hwe enti na ade a lawyer John in the bugri pressure aba no so pay ya amanfo bisa se na lawyer pa osaye mrahye badwani a sebe wasom Ghana ache asem ya da so di akiri ompo ba bi ntena ade ekwoche ne yekwa court a lawyer ne ma ene echina da obeba court no no abe raise concern tape we mode ma me amkotie mante asem ni ye se ensem na ye bebre abusuafo beka se edurure bi kura ye no bia nya bre di asem na chi no na obe se why frustrated se na de na ekoso ye mempem ba bi kura ntran nanso etrentri ye na ye asum sikadwa no nya de asem yi ye bebre ne ne ya bre ne chira edurure bi kura na manfo se Oheneba asem de mu ni ye chira ka akoda ye no kre Ghana asem esi na sanchura adwuma na yantie hu anwumu a mwanwa se Ghana sanchurofo dodo no akipi mute ana omu aka omu no atum afase mu nanso Oheneba Media de ye de ye som Ghana na ye som asanteman esum wiase nyinanti ye da so di asem no achi na de wom ne ye di asem no aba bedrum pempenso bi aka enche nanka asem no ankasa no emuaye ya judge ya woti case ne so no ode beba no ode atodwa ye wo mu a ne koba ase Sadat Muhammad ya oye prime suspect no ne yire ya oye pechi hima a police fo akwache no police fo akwache no a ye duedue mu a na Sadat de atodwa se enipa no ekum no ne yire nim ho hwe asam no onfa ho ana bibia so ni wa onim enti ne yire no yenya no onfa ne tiri nkodidim ye no akiri no police fo gina so na pechi hima na se wa bonsu ye gyan ne se wonko na police fo hia na ebesa afre ne biem ye no akiri no say no oba no bra asem ne ba ye nyina no ne Sadat nyem wakwa ya mede ho nsem nyina betudwa ye no akiri no hrabasa pechi hima no ye pe no ayi hu no ama ni kurom kura no osusu so ye hima no adehye ni bia sore se maame no amumuyo ene niema ebatabata ne hunti omune ne soma enye yie enti yentu na de so ama asante de ye nam amamre ene amane ye kwa so edas ye pesu ye tu Ohema na oba panyi na yetu no enti process na abusuafo ne nam so a sama no guso a mekasai nam se jasefo na asem no wo mu nsem nti asem no kura no akeka kwa koduru sabio otumfo bu abasa ensem ya ye hwe sebe na nansem wode kwakoto Asamponghene anim na sa abusua no ensem mu ka no nte ase wom ne ewura gitum de a na abusua na gino mutum so ne yatimi atu na nanu afrade so na se de waboko ya yepe no aye hu no na asem no gusu a ekoso ene koba sa afedie Sadat ne sa begina adaka mu a wose afedi wase yi pechi hima adanse ana police for ye said de yenko na court nyina ne tumi so ne yenkota biri pechi hima mfa ne mra na afei adanse Sadat ye no obie na no wi na afei emuaye a judge ne betodwa sentence ode be ma no senso ogya na manafa ne ho ade ananka ye nyina ye hu asem ne na no egubre abusunya ye po hima ba bia ye hu no so Ohino Ohema no hrabasa ya wayira asem no oba bedi mu adanse ne ye nya no enam so ma police for kura na Oheneba Media ye pushi wo mu a ye nyina ye bom paye se wo a wonim ba bia na pechi hima wo bia no ofro Oheneba Media ye be ya police for aso trisa se ye hia no ema nsem no yekoso no watimi aba be yi ensimfo aba ko mienu bia no sanse Sadat eyi na danse na ye no ena asem ni didi mu a enti lawyer John in the bugiri ya wo ye mra hye badwani dada oba ye chi se ogina mu Sadat denden na lawyer yi pese wo kire se sense ne client yo ye Sadat Muhammad wayi Pechihima dance enti ye nya Pechihima ma ne me testify asem no ese sabio na ye ne sebe Sadat Muhammad ni ne yi enti mpanimfo gusu asemi wo mu bobo ho ayi na lawyer John de Bugiri wo be komase wa asem ya ho ena obabenya aka ankwanhia na obabenya aka ankwanhia no na nka ne hododo no ade kwachia ne mfe o ma court yebusa say oh accident na affect no ene echina saa na ne hododo no kakra ya no akire no ya naayi enka bi nshem de te ya ne se lawyer John de Bugiri mrahye badwani dada a wo gina ho ma Sadat the prime suspect efa na Asampon ewuo no na Oheneba kwadwafo do ewuo no odan bunkum so na chi se odaya wansole wawu wato nananom wanse do a se no na anu Sadat ba ya chi se ye bona mane se lawyer wo gina ma no wafiri mu no nokra nie Sadat ye ni abre na wono kra no nso enti ya te kire se wono nso kra ne hododo no sanse oba sabi ni trinwa yeku ha na wo hu se na nim ni ade chi se nipa kum na fam wo se ya mpa so onim ho bia wo mfa ne ho ni etu obegina adaka mu na chi se ne lawyer bia ni ho a wo twitwa age no sanse lawyer wo twitwa age no lawyer de Bugiri no na wato na no wonse de se ye nimu ala se Sadat abusuafo ekofa lawyer foforo ama no o se nso chambers na lawyer de Bugiri wo no ombema no another lawyer amwa beto case ni so o ye nim na mom de ebetime de ato dwa confirm se lawyer John de Bugiri 72-year-old legal practitioner wadi dwumaso ayemra sebedwa ya eba sebe criminal cases odi mu akotene no ono na ejina homa Sadat Muhammad wetimi atwa nananom wonse do Sadat nso a wose ne hododo no Pechihima nso so ayehu no etinsam amanfo bi sese so asem no die na ekro na akosi sei ya mpenten emu aten sanse contempt nti no hene ba je ni makode ye di asem na chi se de beto fom afa na Asamponghene wuo no bia no ye de ba betum anim de oku no ene finally ensem ba ba to dwanyina na ansana me de nkomo ni nyina beba wiye no ansana lawyer John de Bugiri wo ba be free mu no wo hene ba je ni makome frɛ no ene ne ye exclusive interview busa ne se ensem ye ekoso yi oje ne sei na osusu se ne client no obedi nkunim na yate se na Asampon abusuafo nso ebibu afu no se asem no wodi animu no ese wa yela asem ne tan ama sebe oye na adwene se case no kura obefrim odi mu aye bebere amame o se case ne de obedi akira kopim so obewu ana afi so onsuro obi a threat ana afi so owogidie mapa se asem no ne client no wo wonsem pa woni tirim enti abusuafo yenkoi ni yenkotie nkomo a Oheneba agye ni maako bene lawyer John de Bugiri ediye na wobrofo kasem enti mesre mo se yi waso netie ne yiye na mpaninsi eduru amanfo so a ne aka ya anom lawyer John de Bugiri nyame mfa wonsie na wokọ asamana do a na asamana do wo man a won se asam no aso mu no wanwie ana wode kro Ediabuziafo ehane de enkomo ni nyina esie yemfa video no entoa so na yenhwe nkomo a me ne lawyer John de Bugiri ediye ni bi abuziafo ye kwa homa no so na ye ne Sadat Muhammad ne mere ndimni onkasada for the first time lawyer de Bugiri oso opese one Oheneba Media bonkomo fa ensem a any accusations ye dey to Sadat so na afi ye man lawyer no akonya na for the benefit of your listeners no okambrofo we will try our best near na kasa ye wi a ye be try say ye be summarize the whole issue na afi ya chichiri mo akye yetifo na ya bonkomoti obi anyi na sum no ntie nkomo aye ne lawyer John de Bugiri abebo no kakra okay lawyer John de Bugiri, good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, thank you for joining us.
Yes, a pleasure.
All right. We are speaking to lawyer de Bugiri. He's a private legal practitioner and also a former member of parliament. Lawyer, first of all, can you confirm to us whether you are the lawyer for Sadat Mohammed, the alleged killer of Nana Asamponghene, or not?
I am.
All right. Then thank you very much. Can you tell us exactly the case that your client, Sadat Mohammed, brought before you?
Well, since the incident took place, my client took flight to Burkina Faso out of here, and then he was arrested there and repatriated. And then he has been in detention since then, first in police detention.
Okay.
Under very strict guard. So his relatives had to travel all the way to the north to come and then instruct me to come and take the brief. And I went and please facilitated their ability to meet him and then to talk with him. And I also met him and talked with him in the presence of the police. So that's how I came into the case.
Oh, okay. Lawyer, we are also getting report that... Hello, lawyer. We are also getting report that the family members of the late Asamponghene were threatening you. So you were planning of quitting this particular issue. Is that the case?
No. What happened is that I had a number of telephone calls from various friends warning me that, they had picked information that, people related to the deceased person were not taken kindly to lawyers representing the accused person.
Okay.
So when I attended court at Asukuruman from the last time, I saw that yes, certain persons had come there in mourning clothes, and they were quite a threat. But I told the magistrate to explain to the crowd that, and I spoke to the media as well after the court sitting, that the man is charged with murder. When a person is charged with murder, that person is not allowed to plead guilty. You cannot, when the charge is read, you can't say you are guilty. The judge is enjoined to enter a plea of not guilty for you. And where you don't have resources of your own, financial resources of your own to hire a lawyer, the state will hire a lawyer for you. So if I was sitting in court and the judge appointed me to be his lawyer, I will not be running away because people are threatening. I will have to take up the matter because, the punishment or the penalty for murder is death.
Okay.
And we have situations where, especially out there in Europe and the United States, where people were convicted of murder and hanged, and several years later, several tens of years later, it was found that they were not guilty, and that their conviction was in error, possibly because they did not have the best of legal representation. And so the law wants to err on the side of caution. That's why they make all those provisions, not allowing the accused person to plead guilty, and hiring the state hiring a lawyer for the accused person, where the accused person is unable to hire a lawyer by himself or herself. And so it is in the interest of even the family members and relatives of the deceased that the real killer of the deceased should be the one to be punished. And that means we must go through the trial in a very transparent and methodical manner, so that when one person is convicted or a number of persons is convicted, that means they are actually the person. And the law will not regret for having convicted somebody in error. So I tried to explain this. And I also added that when we are taking the oath to be enrolled as lawyers, we swear that we will defend our clients without fear or favor or ill will. And so if I take a plea, and then relatives of somebody betting that if I don't, give up the brief, they are going to harm me, and I give up the brief, then I breach that oath.
Okay.
It means I am not defending my client without fear.
Okay.
And I ought to do that. So I explained that it is not the case that I am about to pull out of the case. No, I am determined to deal with the case, and I'm only taking every measure to explain to those who are concerned that they should allow the due process to proceed, so that in the final analysis, when someone is convicted or these people are convicted, the correct ones would have been convicted.
Okay. Lawyer, a lot of people are asking this particular question that immediately the incident happened, your client flew to another country, meaning or trying to let people understand that indeed he had hand in this particular issue. How do you respond to that particular comment that people are making?
When the incident happened, all sorts of stories flew around.
Okay.
So, that's why I'm saying that we need to be patient, and when the trial starts, all the facts will be in the open. All sorts of stories were told.
Okay.
And if you put them together, they are so contradictory that that is why it is important that we should be avail legal services so that his case can be dealt with properly.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Now, we also understand that your client is not feeling well. Can you tell us about the health condition of your client, if possible?
Well, yes. I think I was with him about 3 times before the court finalists sent him into the prison. But since he went into prison, I have not met him.
Okay.
When I was with him, the 3 times I've spoken about, he was he was not too well.
Okay.
But that is, he had just been brought from Burkina Faso. That was about a few days after he had been repatriated. So he didn't look too well. He had problems with his ears and he had headaches and so on. But they were giving him medical attention. And I have been monitoring, and I have information that even though he still complains of intermittent headaches, I think his condition is not so bad.
All right. We are speaking to lawyer in the Bugri, a lawyer for an alleged murder or an alleged killer of Nana Asamponghene. Sorry for that. Lawyer, finally before you go, do you have confidence of winning this particular case?
We normally don't predict whether we win the case or not.
Okay.
So, we as lawyers act by instructions.
Okay.
So, according to my instructions, I will do my best. According to the instructions I've got from my client, I will do my best. But there are situations where you can you can receive instructions from the client.
Okay.
And later on you find that the instructions are not exactly what happened. So it is not wise for a lawyer to predict whether he's going to win the case or not.
Okay, but I know there are some cases when they bring a case before you can able to determine, or you can have a confidence that this particular case indeed my client is in clean hands or not. That's what I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, if a client comes to me and says that, well, has stole somebody's cow. And then I have been arrested by the police. And I want you to come and defend me. I ask him, how am I going to defend you? I mean, is it that you want me to plead for mitigation or what? Because if you have, in that case, he will be able to plead guilty when the charge is read to him, unlike in murder. So where the client has told you that he has committed the crime, that is where you can advise him that, look, you better go and plead guilty and then suffer the consequences, because you knew that what you were about to do would have consequences, and you still went ahead and did that. But it is so radically different from the case of murder, because I will explain to you why a person is not allowed to admit that he has committed the murder. The thing has to go through the trial. Unlike in stealing, where you can go and tell the court that, oh, I actually committed the offense, and maybe plead that, oh, sometimes they say it is upon some who caused it and that sort of thing. So, in those clear cases, I mean, a lawyer with some conscience will advise the client that he should throw in the towel. But in murder cases, you cannot do that. That is why we have to go through a trial. And you cannot go through a murder trial without a lawyer. And that is why whether the lawyer thinks you win the case or not, he must still go ahead and deal with the case.
Okay, Lawyer Ndebugri, we will end the conversation now. But before you go, finally, sorry. What do you want to tell us, finally, especially my listeners, before you go?
About the case?
Yeah, about the case.
Yeah, but if there are late Nana Asamponghene's relatives or supporters or family members out there, they must try and understand that, understand our role on the basis of the explanation I've given.
Okay.
And that it is in everybody's interest for due process to take place, so that the real person who committed the heinous crime will be punished.
Okay.
And I thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to explain the situation out there.
All right. Thank you very much also for responding to our call.
You are most welcome.
All right.